So for today's lecture, we are going to start with our chapter number 5. And the chapter number 5 is Fundamental Cloud Security. Okay. As we know that security in cloud is something which is still under research, but still there are some, basic mechanisms which can be applied over our cloud so that we can protect our data. Here we are going to understand what are the basics, how you have to maintain cloud security from your end, what are the different threat agents which are there which can act as an extruder, or they can harm your data. Okay, so we are going to look into some categories of cloud security threat as well, and with that we are going to see that what extra step or additional considerations which you can or take just to provide or protect yourself from that threat. Okay, so your chapter number 5 is divided into two chapters. Your 5.1 is the fundamental cloud security basics. We are going to understand that, and in your chapter number 2, that is the next chapter of chapter 5 only, here you're going to see what are the industrial platforms and what are the different developments, or all your applications which are currently used, cloud applications, public cloud applications, or models which are used. We are going to study that. That is AWS, Google App Engine, and Microsoft Azure. So for now, we are going to start with 5.1. We are going to understand what are the fundamental aspects of cloud security. So in fundamental cloud security, here we are going to look into some concepts. Okay, what are the basic terminologies? What do you mean by threat agents? What are the cloud security threats? Additional consideration and a case study to understand in the better way. So first, I want to start that what do you mean by IT security? Okay, so basically, when we talk about security measurements, security mechanism, it just simply means that you want to protect your data, you want to protect your any information against threat. Okay, and mostly we want to protect our data from the malicious attacks which are done. That can be mostly unintentional. Okay, they are not done with intentionally, obviously. Okay, so there are always being unintentional effects, and there are going to be threats, and you want to protect your data from that particular threats. You want to maintain some security. As I've already told you before, that your cloud security is something which is not coming, with an as a package. You yourself have to make some measurements from your end to protect your data. So what and how you can do the same, we are going to look into here in this chapter. So the very first concept or basic term which we are going to see here is confidentiality. Okay. So what does confidentiality mean? Simply when we talk about confidentiality, it means what? You are making your data, you are making your cloud accessible only to the authorized party. You're not giving rights to everyone to have an access to your piece of code. You are maintaining some level of, you can say, privacy over your data. You are restricting the people who are going to have an access to your data. That is called as confidentiality. You are keeping your data confidential, and only few people will have an access to it. That is called as confidentiality. Okay. So basically in cloud environments, if you're talking about confidentiality, it simply means that you're going to restrict your access to your data. Okay, while your data is being transited over the network, or it is being stored somewhere. So you are going to limit this, that everybody will not have a right to see that data. Only authorized users or the users which you want should see the data will only see it. Okay, so you can see over your screens, you have a diagrammatic representation. You have your cloud consumer and you have your cloud provider. That cloud provider is giving you a cloud service, so that is why it is in a nutshell there. Okay, and the message which is being passed from cloud consumer to cloud provider was being checked that whether this message has been seen by someone who is unauthorized or not. So here you're going to check whenever you are sending your data over the network, you're going to use some additional protocols, you're going to use some mechanisms just to make sure that whatever message you are sending, whatever confidential data you are sending, it should not be seen by someone who is not authorized to see it. Okay, only authorized party or the people who have been given the rights to see that data should be only allowed to see it. So that is called as confidentiality, where you are protecting your data, safeguarding your data, and the data will be accessible only to selected people, or selected, you can say, uh, authorized people, and they only can have an access to your data. So that is your confidentiality. Giving you all 2 minutes, quickly go through this once. Done, everyone. Shall we move next? So next we have is authenticity. So if I talk about authenticity, it simply means that how authentic is your information which is being sended from your consumer to provider. Okay. So authenticity, in other words, also means that whom you are sending your data, that belongs to a authorized source, that is a genuine person or legitimate, you can say, a source wherein you can trust and you can send your information. Okay. Authenticity is also very much important, because if you're sending someone on the other end who is not a legitimate source, then in that case your data will be, misuse, or there is a possibility that your data will be shared across other parties as well. So it is very much important to know the authenticity of the source whom you are sending your data. Okay, like example I have given here, a user may not be able to access a non-reputable file after it's received without also generating a record of this access. So simply here refers to what, that you have made some transactions, or you have made some, you can say, any communication successfully. Okay, but you have, even after receiving the receipt, you are not able to access that record. So the record has been not been, you can other words say, has not been recorded. The receipt which was received was something which was fake. Okay, so it is very much important to know that whoever is your authorized source whom you are sending your data, you should be an authentic person, or it should be an authentic source. Okay, because you are trusting, you are sending your information, so that is something which is important and you need to really take care of. Okay, so this is your third cloud security aspect, that is authenticity. Next, we have the fourth characteristics, that is availability. Okay, so availability, it simply refers that how long you will be able to access, okay, the data, that piece of code, or you can say the information which is stored over the cloud. Okay, so you can decide that for how much specified time that particular service, or you can say that resources will be available. That is referred as availability. Okay, so in case of cloud environments, basically, if you talk about availability of the cloud, it actually depends on the services which you have asked for. So according to the services you have asked for, you're going to get that particular service for that particular point of time. As we know, in cloud we have pay-per-use model. So how much you are paying, using, you're going to pay for that, and accordingly you're going to, your subscription plan will decide for you that your particular service or your particular resources are going to be available till what specified time. Okay, so if you want, then you can have your shared cloud also. It depends on your choices, that if you want to want your services to be shared, then that is also possible. Your cloud provider can provide you with the other cloud carriers as well, where you can share the services across the different cloud providers. This is also something there. So availability is something which has been, a very good solution in the cloud base, because your cloud consumers can share their resources amongst the two, and at times, the cost is also shared. So if you are looking for infrastructure as a service and the cost is going very high, so in that case you can make sure that you can share your service between the two consumers across the different cloud providers and get it done. So basically, just I can sum up that availability, it simply refers that how long you can be able to access any piece of resource and any piece of services, and that depends upon how long you have asked for that. For the period you have asked for, that entire period it should be available to you. Okay, so that is availability. Like if I've asked for the service for 1 week, so for entire 1 week that particular service should be available to me. Okay, so that is availability. If it is not available, then you cannot term this as an part of availability characteristics. Okay, so it's something which is accessible for the specified time period, it referred as availability. So the next characteristic which we have is thread. Okay, so thread basically here simply refers that whatever is your data, okay, whenever it is transmitting from one point to another, so there is a possibility that somebody else, an unauthorized user or someone for whom the data is not belongs to, will have, will try to, you can say, will try to take over that data or will try to read that data. Okay, so basically thread is nothing but, you can say, the data whichever you are sending, it is not secured anymore, and it has a potential, uh, you can say, characteristic like anybody else can also have an access to it. So they are going to break your security, they are going to break your privacy, they are going to have an access over your data, and they can cause the harm. So they can either change some contents of the data, either they can delete some contents of the data. Okay, so that depends on, like, who is the extruder or who is the unauthorized person who is an access to your piece of code. So this is threat simply refers that they sometimes, the few networks, they are more prone to threats because those networks are weak, they are not running some protocols which will protect your information which is sending over the network. So there is a potential uh, possibility that the threat can arise, your data can be shared or data can be accessed by unauthorized users, and they are going to breach your privacy and they are going to cause the harm. Okay, so in case of the threats, it can either be manually or it can be automatically investigated depending on how weak is your particular mechanism. Okay, like if your system is weak, there are a lot of loopholes, there are weak areas, then it is going to be more prone to threats. Like, so sorry, it will be more easy to have threats. Okay, if your system is strong enough, it is robust enough, okay, then in that case the threat cannot occur easily. Even if somebody is trying to have an access to the piece of code, you will get some sort of notification that is possible. Okay, so mostly when we talk about threat, or threats which are there, and usually it occurs with the respect to the weakness into your system, they are called as vulnerabilities. Okay, so if your system is not strong enough, they are weak, they are not able to overcome the threats, they are referred as vulnerabilities. Okay, and if your threats are not being rectified at the initial stage, if you are not able to correct it, if you are not able to know that your system, you have been come across this vulnerabilities, then definitely in the coming time it will be result into an attack. Okay, so threat is something which is the first level which starts, wherein they are going to start, sniffing or spoofing your information. They are going to make changes to your data, they are going to breach your privacy and security. If you get to know this at initial level, then it is well and good, you can protect your information. But if you are not able to do that, then slowly, gradually, in the next point of time, you can expect that this is going to turn into an attack. So that is your threat. Potential security violation, breaking your privacy, breaching your privacy, and causing harm to your data. So next we're going to move into vulnerability. As we have already discussed before, the weakness which is there into your system is usually called as vulnerability, because your system doesn't have sufficient security controls, it doesn't have security mechanisms. Because of that, there is a possibility that it is more prone to attacks and anybody can have an access to your data. So mostly when we talk about vulnerabilities, there can be a range of causes of vulnerability. That can be your configuration deficiencies. You don't have up to date configurations. Your systems is not up to date, or you have not made updations. The systems are not being timely updated. Then you have your security policy which are weak. Okay, you don't have proper security policy. It is easy to be enter into your system. That is one of the things. Then you have multiple users who are having an access to your system. So with that, the security itself has been weakened up, because lesser the people are having the access to your system. Okay, the less it will be prone to errors. If many people are there, you don't know who is acting as an intruder and extruder both. So you are the user errors can also contribute to the vulnerability. Hardware or firmware flaws. If you have your hardware and firmware are not updated properly, if there are flaws, if there are bugs into it, then there is also it can add to your vulnerabilities. In short, poor security architecture. You don't have security mechanism. There has to be a proper security mechanism at each level, where it is going to filter the information, and then it is going to move on. So vulnerability is basically is nothing but, in one word you can sum up, it's a weakness of your system, because your system doesn't have a sufficient security mechanism to protect your information, to protect your resources, or you protect your system against attacks. So the next characteristics which we are moving into is risk. Okay, so if we talk about risk, you can just define it as there is a possibility that harm can take place, or any activity which can take place, which can, like, tell you the possibility of a threat. So that is usually termed as risk. Okay, so basically risk is typically measured according to the threat level. Their threat level can be medium, it can be something critical, or it can be major. So these are different levels of threats if we see. Okay, so according to this level, you define that how the risk is going to be. If it is medium, so you will usually term that the risk is going to be medium. If it is critical, then you are going to refer it as critical, and major, and in that way accordingly. Okay, so risk will depend upon the threat level and number of the possible vulnerabilities. If your system is very weak, then you can tell that the risk is more. If your system is intermediate level, you can say the risk is something which is manageable, your system is not at stake. Okay, and if your system is completely foolproof, then you can term it as your system is uh, highly updated, so there is no possibility, the risk is not going to be there. Okay, so it is you who decide that how the risk is going to take place according to the threat level which you're going to have. So there are two metrics, or you can say the two measurements that will help you to determine the risk in case of your IT resources. So the first is probability of the threat which is occurring to exploit the vulnerabilities in IT resources. Like your IT resources are not updated, the servers are not configured properly. Okay, so if the security mechanism themselves are weak, then there is a probability of threat which is going to occur, and that is going to cause vulnerability. Second, expectation of loss upon the IT resource being compromised. So if your IT resources are not updated, your security is compromised. So somewhere or the other, it is obvious that you can expect that there is a possibility that your system is at stake, and it really needs to be prevented from the threat. So now we have studied so far that what are the security concerns, okay, what are their availability, you can say your confidentiality, your authenticity, availability, risk, threat. So we have already seen this as the characteristic. Now we are looking into the next part, that is security control, like how you can control, how you can maintain security from your end to make sure that you are not prone to attacks, you are not prone to threats, and you can avoid the risk as well. Okay, because there is very, it is very much important that you have to have some security mechanism, you should have some security controls to prevent yourself, because your data is confidential, your data needs to be protected, your data needs to be taken care of against your threats and against the malware, you can say, activities, and you can avoid the risk. Okay, so we have something called a security policy which will help you to do the same. And what is it? We are going to look at. Okay, so there are security mechanisms which are there. Okay, which comes into your security policy, which will tell you that how You can have a defensive framework which will protect your information, your IT resources and services against the attacks or against your any unauthorized access to the information. So security mechanisms have to be there. Security policy is something you can say it is a set of security rules and regulations. Okay, you can define them, you can implement them. Okay, security policies are important because at each step they are going to describe this, they are going to define the policies, and accordingly they are going to check into your systems as well. So policies needs to be defined, that who are the user who are going to have an access to that piece of code, what security mechanisms are going to be used, how the data will be protected, if the data is moving out, whether the firewall will be there or not. So you have to design some set of security policies. In short, you are designing the security rules and regulations which needs to be implemented, which needs to be enforced, and with this security policies you can protect your information. Okay, like for example, the positioning of and usage of security control and mechanisms can be determined by security policies. So your security control aspects, the how you're going to use it, can be determined or can be, you know, represented or mentioned into your security policy. So next we have the topic that is your threat agents. Okay, so we are going to start with this topic in the next lecture because there are series of threat agents. So that's it for the day. Thank you everyone.